Listen, it has just been one of those days, okay? It's just been one of those days. I wasn't planning on doing this today. I was actually planning on doing something productive, but it has just been one, and we're going to be productive in a little bit, but we can't be productive right now because the thing that we're going to be productive about doesn't start for another few hours, okay? And so I was like, okay, basically, here is what my day has been. I got out of bed, I jumped into a problem solving thing, and then I had another problem I needed to solve, and then I had another problem I needed to solve, and then I had a 2-hour meeting that actually went 2.5 hours, and then I had to troubleshoot something, and then I had to have a phone call, and then I had to have an interview, and then I had to figure out what the hell am I streaming at 5 o'clock, and it's already 5:15 by this point, and then I was like, I have to set up this spy stream stuff for later. Oh shit. And there's other things I had to do, okay? And then there's nothing remotely controversial even more later. There's just been a lot of stuff to do today. And so we are deviating from what my original plan was today because as it turns out, while I can do a great many things, I can't do every single thing all at once. And so we're going to do a little bit of an extremely light stream right now to address some dramas. Ooh, is there a Crip Marxist video on the Denver Communist channel? Really? That's a good thing for tomorrow. Yes, but as we know, no one takes my work seriously. As we know, it's not as though they don't copy my work. They just don't admit that they copy my work. Kino, you are just fine. You that was not your. It was not your. Kino is an integral part of the plan I have for later. Okay, and so let's just start with that. So today. So for the stream right now, we're going to be doing some bullshit drama stuff. But if you don't want to do drama, just stick with me for like 5 minutes because I'm going to explain what we're going to do later. Okay. So later on today, we have a spy stream. Let me just get this up. So I said, we are going to be doing something productive today. We just aren't going to be doing it right this second. All right, because we do have a spy stream tonight. Spy stream is for supporters only. It is only for people who sign up as a supporter on my Substack, on my locals, on my Patreon, on my Twitter subscribers, or on my YouTube channel membership page. And so if you have done any of those things in just a little bit, you will be getting access to spy stream. I have not sent out credentials yet. I am hoping to wrap this stream up in about an hour and 15 minutes tops so that I can go and send out the credentials, because one of the things that we had to do earlier that Kino was involved in, and so everyone, let's just give Kino a hand, is this spy stream is a little bit complicated for reasons that I'm not going to disclose right now, but Kino and I had to set up a backup because, as you know, we are professionals at infiltrating leftist trainings, and they always try to kick us out. And even when it's only restricted to my supporters, sometimes they still try to figure it out. And so we have a backup of a backup to make sure, as best as we can, that the spy stream is going to go off tonight without a hitch. We are going to be watching a leftist activist training. That's all I'm going to say about it right now, because I want to be able to actually watch the training. Tayton, that's okay, my friend. We all have our moments of descending into retardia. Even me. All is forgiven. All is well. So we are going to be doing a spy stream later, guys. If you want to get it, if you want to take part in this spy stream, head over to my Substack, carlin.substack.com. Sign up as a supporter for $8 a month, $80 a year. Tonight's if you have enjoyed my content recently, tonight's spy stream is going to be fucking epic. That's the only hint I'm going to give. All right. It's going to be great. And it's getting started around 7:15-ish tonight. So that is what we have going on later. I will be sending out credentials. I just didn't have time to do it yet, but I will be sending out credentials, and that will again only go out to supporters. So that is going to be our productivity. We are still going to do nothing remotely controversial later. Don't worry about it. All right. I apparently can do most things all at once. I just can't do all things all at once. And so that is what we're going to be doing in a little while. So I thought we would just to kind of have something for right now, because again, I've really been going since the moment I woke up today. We're going to do trash, garbage, drama. Is that all right? Like, if you're not here for it, you're not here for it, and I understand that. But like I said, we are going to be doing something productive later. And this isn't even the only spy stream we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be doing one on Friday and Saturday as well, possibly even rolling over into Sunday. We have a multi-day spy stream coming up that you are going to want to see. I promise you, it's going to be the most woke cringe shit you've ever seen in your life. It is going to be amazing. It is going to be awesome. And that is going to be coming up starting on Friday. But right now we're going to do some trash drama talk because a little bird told me that it seems as though Deb Fillman of the channel The Reason We Learn is stealing my content again. Now, listen, Deb is allowed to cover anything she wants to on the internet. Just because I covered something last week and Deb doesn't know anyone who's covering this, and then Deb covers the same thing a week later when she's done this before, it doesn't mean that Deb is secretly watching my content and obviously stealing it. I just don't know where else Deb would get this stuff from, considering Deb doesn't know anyone covering this, and I am the only one that's covering this that I know of. And I really do try to keep an eye out for people covering my type of content, because if you're covering the far left like I'm covering the far left, I want to talk to you, man. I want to be friends. I want to talk. But I just don't know of anyone else who's covered this. And so I find it to be a little bit suspicious that Deb Fillman, who has a long and documented history of stealing my shit. As a reminder, Deb Fillman, for over a year, was a member of my locals community, used to come on my locals calls all the time to try to steal my community, to try to get them to sign up to support her work. I actually thought that Deb Fillman was creating stuff on her own back then, and so I was really supportive of her. I encouraged everyone to support Deb's work. I let Deb talk for way longer than I should have let Deb talk in our community Zoom calls because she was trying to get my community to support her. And then Deb decided to collude with 3 other people in my community to try to openly and blatantly steal my shit, stupidly thinking I wouldn't find out about it. But of course I did find out about it, and I kicked all their asses out, and I called Deb out on it publicly. Well, Deb has been trying to steal my shit ever since because she is incapable of coming up with anything original on her own to cover. And apparently, I heard a rumor that in this video that we are going to watch that is queued up to the point where it starts, I heard a rumor that little Debbie did it again. And I just want to see what Deb has to say, because this video was from like yesterday. And so if Deb actually understands this content like Deb claims she understands this content, and she's not just cribbing me and seeing what I'm covering to try to get something to share with her audience, then Deb surely is going to have original ideas of her own that she absolutely came up with on her own, and that we are going to be able to identify as Deb's original ideas. So I thought that we would just see Deb's coverage, and maybe I'm wrong. We always want to hold space for the fact that maybe I could be wrong. There's always that possibility. Maybe Deb really did find this on her own. And I think it will become very, very clear as soon as we watch it about whether or not Deb did find this video on her own. So we're just going to give that a gander. But before we do that, some of you may know that last night I did kind of a raging stream about James Lindsay blocking my not only blocking my audience, James Lindsay actually sent out a tweet. Do I still have it on my screen here? Do I still have it? No. That's all Moms for Liberty garbage. Anyway, that's all stuff I can delete. Anyway, James Lindsay sent out a tweet last night telling his audience to block my audience. And he happened to be sending out a tweet that Reagan sent. Now, if anyone has been around my community for any period of time, they know that Reagan is like the nicest person in my community. Reagan doesn't shit talk people like I do. Reagan is like so nice and so welcoming. And she didn't say anything mean to James, but James blocked Reagan on Twitter for daring to tell him that queer theory is about abolishing capitalism and the gender binary. And not only did James block Reagan on Twitter, James quote tweeted Reagan and told everyone to block all of my audience aggressively on Twitter. Why would someone do that? Why would someone do that? So I did a stream last night around 1 a.m. where I was like, WTF, James, what the actual F? And of course, since then, I've had the James Lindsay stands coming into my feed. How dare you besmirch Daddy Lindsay? They're all clutching their pearls. How dare you question our hero? I just want to show you guys one comment that I literally just got on this video, and this is just so indicative of your typical kind of James Lindsay stand that I just have to show it to you guys. Hopefully I can make it bigger so you guys can actually see it. Why is it making that window bigger? I don't want to make it that window bigger. I want to make this window bigger. What the fuck? Where did the comment go? Where did it go? Hang on. My computer has just slowed down to a goddamn crawl. Where did it go? I literally just had it here. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. I want to read this to you guys as like the typical kind of blowback that you can expect from a typical James Lindsay stan. And this will encapsulate the difference between my audience and James Lindsay's audience. And sometimes they overlap, but here is what I find happens when James Lindsay's fans eventually find my content and they start watching it. Like, many people in my audience supported James Lindsay for years. I supported James Lindsay for years, probably because I wasn't listening to him for the last 3 years. That probably helped matters. But when we discovered like how much James Lindsay was not telling his audience after I emerged from my hibernation, I actually started listening to his content again. What tends to happen exactly? Lecture me harder, Daddy James. Lecture me harder. What tends to happen when James Lindsay's audience finds my content is they tend to stay with my content. And I hear this over and over and over and over and over again. I hear, Carlin, I had no idea how much I didn't know. I've been listening to James for years, and then I listened to your content, and everything all of a sudden started to make sense, and I understood it all on a deeper level. I hear this every day from people. Now, everyone needs different teachers, no problem with that. But what we've recently discovered is James is flat out lying to his audience. James is telling his audience that queer theory is a Gnostic sex cult, when that is not what queer theory is. Queer theory is about abolishing the gender binary as an attack on capitalism, because abolishing capitalism is all these people care about. James won't explain that to his audience. He refuses to use the word capitalism. Anyway, so I find there is a very distinct difference between the people who watch my content, who are hinged into reality, because we watch the left every 6 days a week. We watch the left on my channel. People who watch my content know what's going on because they watch it directly. There's no pinky swear, trust me, bro bullshit over here. I'm not going to say it's a Gnostic sex cult, guys. I promise. I'm going to say, let's watch this video of the left explaining what they believe, and then we can talk about it. And James Lindsay's audience doesn't know how to do this. The people that don't actually listen to the left, but they gravitate to everything James says as the holy word of God, they don't know how to reconcile these ideas. And so I get all these crazy James Lindsay stands in my comments saying, you are a horrible person for reasons X, Y, B, and Z. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. So let me give you an example of when this happens. And this is going to be this Justin person. Now, I have never actually seen Justin show up on one of my streams before. Justin has never watched my content. Justin has never participated in the chat, but Justin is going to write a whole fucking essay about how much more he knows about this than I do when I've watched more leftist training than anyone on the planet, to include your daddy Lindsay, Justin. James has nothing on me in this area. Let's see what Justin had to say. Carlin, if you can accept the constructive criticism, you are truly self-righteous. You know it's going to go well when it starts off with someone calling me self-righteous. Yes, I am self-righteous because I have watched thousands of hours of leftist training, more than anyone else on the planet. I have gone undercover at their events while you were posting from an anonymous profile on Twitter. You're goddamn right. I'm self-righteous about what I know, and I have earned every right to be self-righteous. And if you don't like it, you can run back over and suck Daddy Lindsay's cock as much as you damn well please. Steve, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Carlin, I caught last night's stream. Seeing James's sex cult post seems like he stole Tick History's videos minus capitalism and added satanic panic. That's interesting, Steve. I wouldn't have guessed that. I will have to look into that. I appreciate you letting me know. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see. That other Jenny says, James Lindsay caters to people who want a gatekeeper for what's going on the left. Carlin is for people who want people to see for themselves what is going on. Thank you, Jenny, for that. I do appreciate it. So I am truly self-righteous. This causes you to burn too many bridges and pick too many fights with people you should consider allies. Well, if someone is blatantly lying to their audience for money, I do not consider that person an ally. If someone is refusing to look at primary source evidence, I do not consider that person an ally. Why is it my responsibility to work with intellectually dishonest people? No, I don't want to. I don't care how many bridges I burn with intellectually dishonest people. It makes no difference to me at all. You arguably know more than most about what leftists say in meetings and webinars today. True. But James Lindsay knows more than you do about the ideological evolution of leftism going all the way back to Hegel. And this, bro, is the problem. James Lindsay can read as much fucking Hegel as he wants. James Lindsay can produce as many podcasts about Marcuse and Foucault and all of that as he wants. James Lindsay has no fucking idea what the left is saying and doing in the real world today. I'm going to say that again. I don't give a flying fuck how much Hegel James Lindsay has read. James Lindsay has no idea what the left is saying and doing in the world today. Absolutely none. Now, if you want someone to do an analysis of Marcuse or Hegel, James Lindsay is your person. I'm not going to do a 4-hour podcast about Hegel, okay? I'm absolutely not going to do it. But if you want to know what the left is actually doing to fuck up your life in the real world, then you pay attention to me, or you have no idea. Did Rufo unfriend me too? Not to the best of my knowledge, or just James Lindsay. I suggest you for a panel with Rufo. Was really? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Yes, please email me. Please do so. Rufo still follows me. Rufo sometimes will take things I sent to him and repackage them and pretend they're not from me. I know many people who Rufo has taken ideas from and not given credit to. But I didn't know that Rufo was pulling that shit. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting, Chris? You know what? If that's his position, then that's fine because I know more than he does too about this stuff, and I'm not going to be afraid to admit that. And if Chris Rufo wants to make this a fucking competition with me, I have absolutely no problem going to war with him, just as I'm going to go to war with James Lindsay, and I have no fucking issue with that. Please do so. Please do so. The fact of the matter is that Chris Rufo still has not wrapped his head around the idea that whiteness has nothing to do with skin color and is in fact about capitalism. And so, he can pretend otherwise all he likes. And I don't want to fight with Rufo is the thing. I have no desire to fight with him at all. I think that Chris Rufo is in the position I would want him in. I don't want to do what he's doing. He's playing this political game, but if he wants to play this little fucking politics game where he is all about image and branding, darling, then I am more than happy to play that fucking game. I do think that it is very funny, a lot of the things that Chris Rufo doesn't share. I think it's very funny, a lot of the things that Chris Rufo thinks should be moral outrages when he covers them. But when other people cover them, he somehow misses it, even if it's sitting in his fucking DMs. But I haven't wanted to start any shit with him publicly because, quite frankly, I just don't care. I like the things that he's doing. I think he's way behind us in terms of his understanding, but I like the things that he's doing. He's not going to be useful to me in any way. He's never going to explain this stuff to his audience, but I do think that he is very effective in terms of certain things. But I kind of made the decision, and I'll just say, fuck it, I'll say this. I made the decision like a couple of weeks ago. I'm just not sending Rufo stuff anymore because he never shares it, he never covers it, and he's always kind of a dick about it. So I have never started any shit with him publicly, but if he's shit talking me behind the scenes, that's another fucking thing. Conservatives are so fucking predictable. And I have no problem. Like I've reached the point with this stuff, guys, where like this stuff, like it is mind-boggling to me. This stuff is actually a fucking problem. The left is going to win because all of the conservative fucking grifters can't get their shit together and are more interested in building a fucking brand and making money rather than actually being productive. It is infuriating when you see it. It is infuriating. Whatever, though. I don't need Rufo to help me. He can diddle around with his Harvard bullshit that is never going to fix Harvard. He can diddle around with his DEI stuff that is never actually going to solve the problem because they're just going to change the name of it. He can do all that stuff and do his public branding campaign and inevitably run for office someday and maybe even get elected. He can do all of that stuff, and I don't need to be fucking involved. Anyway, back to the Lindsay Stan comment. So this person is saying, James is better than you because he has read more Hegel. He's not wrong in articulating how neo-Marxism has stepped beyond a singular focus on capitalism. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Anyone who thinks that the left is not entirely focused on abolishing capitalism, which they define as private property ownership, probably listens to James Lindsay and they do not understand the left. They absolutely do not listen to the left at all. Yes, all leftist ideas ultimately return to capitalism. Oh, smartest thing you've said in this entire comment, jackass. But that doesn't mean they don't cover a lot of ground in matters ranging far beyond economics. And this, again, is how you know that James is not teaching his audience. How the left defines capitalism is the following. It is defined as private property ownership to include your home, your land, your business, your rental properties, wait for it, jackasses, your parental rights, and your individual liberties. Capitalism is not about seizing the means of production, you idiots. And if you listened to the left and you heard what they would say at their events, you would know this. This is the part where I really took umbrage. Where I said on the stream yesterday, I have earned the right to harangue his ass on this. Yes, I have, mother effers. No, you haven't, Carlin. James isn't lying to his audience, and you're not as smart. You're not as smart as you like to think you are. I do love it when conservatives who haven't done a teeny tiny little fraction of the work that I've done in this area like to tell me that I'm not as smart as I think I am. These people are posting from anonymous accounts in their mom's fucking basement, and they want to tell me you don't know what you've seen with your eyes? You're creating needless infighting within the anti-communist movement. Please stop it. You hurt the movement with such behavior. You're a better investigator than James. Well, that's true. But James is a better scholar than you. I never said I wanted to be a scholar, you fucking moron. You should orient your words and efforts to uniting and advancing the anti-communist movement, not infighting. I'm not trying to unite the anti-communist movement. I tried to play nicely with these people for years. I fed them stories and materials for years that they never bothered to look into themselves, Chris Rufo. I tried to play their fucking games. It didn't work. They've lied to their audiences. They have fed conservatives outrage porn ad nauseum over and over and over and over and over again, to the point now where the conservative right is convinced that queer theory is a Gnostic sex cult. Funny thing is, today's Marxists don't give a flying F about Hegel because they are dialectical materialists. Hegel is too mystical for Marxists. True. Which they would know, wouldn't they, Rottweiler, if they actually listened to what the left said? I said on the podcast, you, James, are a genius. What you've done is invaluable. I completely agree with that. Correct. James is a genius and his anti-communist work is invaluable. Your inability to understand what he's saying in this tweet, which, by the way, is intelligible and sensical to me, and it's why it's more important, says more about you and how you are not a genius than it does about James. And that's really what this is about. Because conservatives are more interested in sucking the cocks of their heroes without thinking critically about what they're telling them at all than they are in actually getting to the truth. The person who has caused more infighting than anyone else in the so-called anti-woke movement is fucking James Lindsay. James Lindsay has pissed off more real activists in the anti-woke movement than almost anyone. And I kept quiet about it for years. For years. The people he blocked, the people he annoyed, the people he pissed off. James Lindsay has a lot of enemies out there. And I don't see anyone sliding into his comments with stuff like this saying, James, why have you been causing this fucking dissension for years? And they never will. I didn't say shit about this for a long time. Now, of course, that will never be acknowledged that I placated James, I deferred to James, I sent people to James's content, I wrote about James in my book. I was always referencing him, even though I wasn't listening to him anymore. None of that is ever acknowledged, is ever considered. But when I tell the truth that James Lindsay is blocking people in his Twitter feed who are trying to teach his audience things they don't know, and proactively telling his audience to block everyone in my community, I'm sorry, bro. I'm not the one causing the infighting here. It is James that is causing the infighting. This is serious. This is more than about your ego, James. That's again quoting me from last night. And the James Lindsay stand says, back at you, Carlin. Your ego is the reason you're picking these needless fights. No, bro, it's not. No, bro, it's not. The reason I'm picking these fights is this is the only way to teach people what is actually going on, since James Lindsay apparently has now been lying to his audience and revving them up with fucking outrage porn for fucking years, to the point where they can't even understand logic and reason. The LGBT shit is just a distraction. Leftism is indeed serious. Bro, if you're calling it leftism, you don't even understand it. Yet you persist in grudge fights with your fellow anti-leftists instead of allying with them. I do not owe anyone anything. Let me be very clear, conservatives. I am not one of you. I do not believe in conservative indoctrination. I do not believe in conservative authoritarianism. I stopped hanging out with you guys back at the beginning of 2021. I have tried to break up with you on numerous fucking occasions. I owe you nothing. I don't owe James Lindsay anything. I sure as shit don't owe Chris Rufo anything. I have built my audience and my catalog of work by myself without any help from any of them. I was always there to back them up and support them if it was necessary and needed. And it was never appreciated, and I was never thanked for it. And they sure as shit didn't promote my work. So why do I owe you assholes anything? So far as I'm concerned, Moms for Liberty and James Lindsay have done more to fuck up the anti-woke movement and anything productive than basically any other group on the planet. And you want to sit here and tell me in my comments that I owe you my loyalty and I owe you my allyship? Go fuck yourself. I don't care if I don't get invited to speak at the conservative event, because the fact of the matter is I don't support your political movement. So why would I want to fucking go anyway? I have a YouTube channel. I have a Substack. I have people inviting me to do private presentations. I'm flying out to a couple things in the next couple weeks that I'm being invited to go speak from people who actually want to hear from me. I don't need to be invited to your events for reasons for people that don't even want to hear from me anyway. I am more than capable of getting an audience. I am more than capable of getting people who actually want to learn about this stuff to listen. I've proven that time and time again. There is not another single person on the internet right now that can get thousands of people to sit down for several hours a week and actually listen to hardcore socialism. Chris Rufo's not doing that. James Lindsay isn't doing that. There is no other person on the internet that can get thousands of people to sit down and spend hours of their time listening to far left socialism except for me. There is no one else on the internet that has an audience that understands this content like I do. The fact of the matter is if James Lindsay and Chris Rufo and all the rest of them were being responsible and they actually wanted their audience to learn, they would have been sending them to me all along because I am the only teacher that exists in this specific game. But they don't because they're more interested in personal accolades and branding and money and clout, darling. And they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to do whatever they want. No one has to support me. I don't fucking need it. I have worked for years to build this on my own, precisely so I don't need to play your political games, mother effers. If you don't want to watch my work, I don't really care. Because I have thousands of people who will. I have thousands of people who are supporting it financially. Why do I need you? Someone explain this to me. Why do I have any obligation after years of building my own community by myself with the help of volunteers? Why exactly do I need to suck your dick? Why exactly should I be begging to work with you? If the reality is this, if conservatives were fucking smart and conservatives actually wanted to understand the left, they would be begging to talk to me about what I know. They would be begging me to teach them how I have taught my community to learn this. If they actually wanted to win, the problem is they don't. They just want money. That is all it is. You think you're right. You're goddamn right I do. So everyone who doesn't agree with you must be wrong. Yep. I urge you to cultivate the humility that will allow you to see that while you do have a superior knowledge in a particular niche, you are not smarter or wiser than anyone else in the anti-communist movement. And this is why conservatives will always lose. Yes, I am, bro. Yes, I am. And if you think, conservatives, that you are going to make me feel badly for saying I know more about this shit than you do, you got another thing coming. I will never, ever, 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 ever feel badly for taking credit for the thousands of hours that I've done watching these goddamn leftist trainings. You assholes haven't done it. You have no idea. And the problem and why you will continue to lose to the left is because you think you know way fucking more than you actually know. And you've convinced yourself that you are the righteous and you have the God Lindsay to guide you. When James Lindsay doesn't know what's happening in the real world, you're all going to be in for a fucking surprise, I'll tell you that. If you continue to lash out at allies, and by the way, why are they using the word ally? Because that's a leftist word. These people aren't my allies. These people have never helped me. These people have never supported me. Why am I allies with them? Exactly. This is the thing that is really like bugging me out. It's that conservatives literally think that I have an obligation to work with the people that they like, even though those people have never helped me before. Even those people were nowhere to be fucking found when I needed help, and I had to figure it out on my own. No, I owe you nothing. If you continue to lash out at allies when they don't say or do everything you think they should, you are only going to isolate yourself. I don't care. I don't know what you idiots have been watching for the last several years, but it has been my goal to isolate myself from these people. My work is not about any of these people. I have isolated myself from every conservative grifting organization, from every conservative grifting influencer. I don't go on their shows for a reason because none of them are smart enough to understand my work anyway. I don't get involved. Isolating myself has been the entire goal. Anytime I have tried to work with these people, they have done nothing but fuck it up and lie to their audiences. So yeah, isolating myself sounds great, man. I'm totally fine with this. And guess what? The people that want to learn, they'll find me. The people who want to learn have been finding me for years. The people that want to learn will support my content. The people that want to learn will subscribe to the Substack, will share it out with their friends and family. They're the ones that'll invite me to do the virtual presentations. They're the ones that'll fly me places. I have been very lucky and very blessed to build a community of supporters that will crowdfund whatever I fucking need if I need it. Now, would it be nice to have exposure to a larger audience? Sure. It would be really nice if I can make that happen faster. But the fact of the matter is I am not willing to sell my soul to any of these bullshit conservative influencers in order to be able to do it. That ship sailed years ago, bro. You guys got enough of me in 2020. You're never getting it again. It is never going to happen. And I don't need you. Persuasion is not achieved, alliances are not forged, and wars are not won by haranguing people if they don't fall in with your line of dictates. Please work to refine how you engage with others in the movement so as to advance it rather than hinder it. That's how I feel, James Lindsay stands. That's how I feel. You are, and what I replied is, Hi, person who has never consumed my work and has no idea what I'm doing. I do not accept criticism from thoroughly uneducated people who have never shown up for a single stream of mine. Fuck off. Because I'm going to remain uncompromised. And the entire point of being grassroots funded by normal people was so that I never had to sell my soul in the way that James Lindsay has sold his soul. Will I ever be as famous as them? Yeah, probably not. And that's fine, man. That's fine. Will I ever hobnob with Bill Ackman at the Harvard Club, darling, like Chris Rufo does? No, probably not. But guess what? I started my career working at Harvard. I've been in the fucking Harvard Club. It's not what I want anyway. But my audience will know what the left is doing. And they will know it better than any other person on the internet. And every single thing my audience learns will be hinged into reality. It will not be, it's a Gnostic sex cult, pinky swear, trust me, bro. People who are looking for those who will pander to the conservative political machine can run right along over to James Lindsay. They can run right along over to Moms for Liberty. They can run right along over to Chris Rufo. And again, there's a lot that Rufo's doing that I think is actually a good thing. It wasn't my intent to actually shit on him up until someone came into my chat and said, Chris Rufo says he's never going to work with you. And I'm like, that's interesting because he's never actually said that to me, but it wouldn't surprise me because branding, darling, branding. And, I'm not going to go into all that now, but he wants to play this game. I'm more than happy to play. James could have easily deflected our comments with a simple, yes, it's about wanting to get rid of capitalism, but insert academic reasons. Instead, he got butthurt. It's all very sus. Isn't that interesting? Why didn't James Lindsay do that? Why didn't James Lindsay defend his ideas? If James Lindsay is just so much of a better academic than I am, and he is just so much more capable, and he has read so much more Hegel, then why can't James Lindsay defend his ideas when faced with primary source documentation? But moi, Gnostic sex cult. Gnostic fucking sex cult. You know, I've been asked quite a bit over the past couple days, Carlin, why is it so important to you to call out James Lindsay? Why is it so important? Your ego is just so big, Carlin. Why are you doing this? It's funny. When I first started with all this stuff back in 2020, I was told emphatically by the conservative right that there is an objective reality, and the objective reality is all that matters, and facts don't care about your feelings. That was the line back then. There is an objective reality. The objective reality is all that matters, and facts don't care about your feelings, Carlin. Well, conservatives, there is an objective reality. And the objective reality is what we see when we watch leftist and socialist trainings 6 days a week. And when I go undercover at events that you guys don't even know are happening. That's the reality, conservatives. What the activists are doing and teaching to each other. That's the fucking reality. You can make up any idea you want about a Gnostic sex cult. But I've been to leftist events. I have been to the farthest left events that you can go to. And there weren't no fucking Gnostic sex cult. So you guys are living in fantasy land. You are living in a made up fantasy. It's not real. So don't come to me and say, how dare you besmirch our influencers? You guys are the ones that are making shit up that is not grounded into reality. We live in facts and realities on this channel. We are hinged in to what the left is doing in the real world. Facts don't care about your feelings. So apparently, and this happened right before I went on stream, apparently YouTube pulled down that 60-minute stream, but you can still find it on Rumble, and I'm working on getting it back up on YouTube. It's like a copyright thing, which is bullshit. I've appealed it, but you can still find the 60-minute stream over on Rumble if you want it. Everyone who watches my channel knows the goal of the left is to abolish capitalism. James Lindsay will not say the word capitalism. And I'm not going to sit by any longer and watch that happen and watch the conservative audience following him looking more and more and more and more and more insane without saying something. It's goddamn irresponsible. People are going to lose their kids over this bullshit, guys. But you're worried about James Lindsay's feelings? People are going to lose their kids if they don't understand this. I'm not worried about James Lindsay's feelings. James Lindsay has made millions of dollars off of this. Chris Rufo has made millions of dollars off of this. I am not worried about their fees. I am worried about people who are going to lose their kids because they're being misled by influencers who refuse to tell them the truth. And if you don't like it, you don't have to fucking listen to my content, and you will be completely unprepared because I am literally years ahead of your influencers. My audience is literally years ahead. And anyone that watches my content on a regular basis understands why. And if you assholes think that I'm the only one that's pissed off about this, my audience is good and pissed off about this now as well. And we are organizing to make sure that we are doing more outreach to get more people over here and less people listening to you. And I do not apologize. I absolutely do not apologize. There is right and there is wrong, and there is objective truth, and there is made up fucking fantasy to fuel conservative outrage addiction. Dates matter. Facts matter. And the left is very, 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 very clear about what they are doing when you actually listen to them. The problem is no one on the right is listening to them. And the people who have been here and have been listening to the left for years with me, we're all starting to get a little fucking pissed at you morons. Because you are dragging all of us into the communist goddamn utopia simply because you are not listening to what is going on. Again, if conservatives were really concerned about the left, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, and people can say, Carolyn, you are an ego-driven narcissist, all they fucking want. I don't really care. I know more about what is going on the far left, activist left, than anyone else in the country right now, guys. And many people in my audience are not that far behind me because they watch it all with me. I know more about what the far left is doing and the network they're building and how they do what they do and why they do what they do and what they're doing next than anyone else in the country. If you assholes actually cared about defeating the left, you would put aside your feelings. You would get over your ego being bruised that I called you out on Twitter, and you would fucking talk to me and ask me questions. And none of you do this because none of you actually care about what's going on. And if you think that I'm not going to start naming fucking names about who cares about what's going on and who doesn't care about what's going on, you are out of your minds because I no longer care. The Revolutionary Communist Party of America is actively recruiting people in 30 cities right now, and you think I care about your feelings? Please. Please. But the mean woman on the internet is mean on the internet, and that's all that really matters. The mission that I am on is I'm going to teach as many people as I can about what is actually going on. I'm going to teach people things that Chris Rufo is not telling them. I'm going to teach people things that James Lindsay is not telling them. I'm going to teach people things that no one at the Daily Wire even fucking knows about. I'm going to teach people things the Blaze won't touch with a 100-foot pole. And the people who want to learn will show up. And the people who don't want to can go cry into a corner about how mean the mean woman on the internet is. And that's what I'm going to do. And if people don't like it, I don't really know what to say. So, guys, that has been my big rant about that whole issue. I didn't really expect it to last that long. I kind of wonder what just happened to the stream because I just got a whole bunch of viewers on Twitter. Did someone retweet this on Twitter? What just happened? Anyone on Twitter, can you let me know what just happened? Because I just got a whole bunch of viewers on Twitter. Let's just see. What just happened over on the Twitters? What just happened? I mean, if you're new, welcome, but my number just went way up when it really had no cause to. That is weird. That is weird. Something just happened. Well, anyone who's watching on Twitter can let me know why my numbers just went through the roof. That would be great. Let me see. No, that's so weird. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, let's watch this video with Deb, and then I gotta go. So that was a big, long preamble that wasn't actually supposed to be a preamble, but whatever. I'll make a clip of that later or something. We're gonna watch this video from Deb Fillman, and we're gonna find out if she's copied my work. All right, let's just see what happened real quick. We have like half hour. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. So you guys will remember last week I covered live a presentation done by Haymarket Books all about them changing the definition of anti-Semitism. And a little birdie told me that Deb Fillman may have been peeking over my shoulder to copy my paper. Let's just see what happened.
And the same is true for Israel. So now that we've done that and laid the groundwork, I asked you here in particular because I follow a lot of radical teachers and I follow a lot of radical curricula. And then I kind of...
Deb does not follow radical teachers, by the way. She absolutely does not follow radical teachers. I know this because I look at Deb's Twitter all the time because Deb likes to talk about me and shit talk me. And I know exactly who Deb Fillman is following. And I know exactly who Deb Fillman is listening to because she likes to shit talk me all the fucking time. I just canceled my Substack to New Discourses and I put a little message. Say capitalism, James. It's always been about capitalism. Guys, if you would like to support my Substack, that is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. If you head over there and sign up for $8 a month or $80 a year, you will be invited in about half an hour to a spy stream that I'm doing tonight where I am taking people inside a real leftist training because unlike James Lindsay, I don't go pinky swear, trust me, bro. I show you what's actually going on. And I let you decide for yourself based on primary source video evidence. I don't say, listen to this 4-hour podcast about my interpretation of Marcuse and Hegel. I just show you the damn video and then we talk about it. That's it. So sign up. Make sure you're subscribed on whatever channel you're watching on. Let's continue.
You know, I and my whistleblowers, we could have looked through to like who's following who and what they're doing, what are they talking
Deb's
about.
Whistleblowers.
And a lot of them follow Haymarket Books on social media and they follow their YouTube.
Now, Deb. Haymarket Books. Why does that sound familiar, Deb? I've never actually seen you tweet about Haymarket Books, Deb, except for last week when you tweeted about this right after I covered it. Who else covers Haymarket Books? Does anyone else actually cover Haymarket Books? I cover Haymarket Books all the time. But I don't know of anyone else who's actually covering Haymarket Books, Deb. How convenient, Deb.
Those of you who don't know what Haymarket Books is, if you go to like the About section, they are, here it is. It says, our mission is to publish books that contribute to struggles for social and economic justice. We strive to make our books a vibrant and organic part of social movements and education and development of critical, engaged, and internationalist left. So they do not...
What Deb is struggling to explain right now is that Haymarket Books is the largest socialist book publisher in the United States. They are the updated brand for the international socialist organization that had to disband after they had a Me Too scandal, and they renamed themselves Haymarket Books. They are located in Chicago. They run the socialism conference. They literally run the damn thing. They publish hundreds of socialist books. every single year. Why does Deb need to go to the About page to explain this to people? I don't need to go to the About page to explain this to people. My audience knows exactly who Haymarket Books Set is. And why isn't Deb explicitly saying they're a socialist book publisher?
Not make any bones about they are solidly leftist, Marxist revolutionaries.
Oh,
Let's
there
be
it
very
is.
clear.
There
So
it is.
then on their Twitter account, they were featuring a video, which we're going to watch, at least some sections of it. But before I do that, I want to play you the little intro video to their whole channel. Again, just now, we've said that they're Marxists, but you really have to hear from their own words. So listen.
Yes, Deb. You do have to hear Marxists in their own words, don't you? If you're new to my channel, I show you Marxists in their own words all the time. If you want to hear Marxists in their own words, that's literally what we do here 6 days a week. Deb never does this. Deb doesn't even know who these people are. We do this 6 days a week. I appreciate you. I'm in Chicago. I'm going to go make fun of them. They actually have something called Haymarket House in Chicago where they run socialist events. And so don't be disruptive, dude. Go and be sneaky about it. Use the things I learned you to be subversive. Remember, we don't disrupt, we subvert. There's a difference.
Listen to this.
Intensely radical.
Wait.
I don't understand how we can ultimately dismantle any of it if we don't stick to a intensely radical politics.
You're broke if you're taxing rich people.
We break production for profit and we replace it by production for need.
Deb doesn't understand any of this. This is hilarious.
So they make it pretty clear. Hi,
Wow.
we're communists.
Yeah, it's amazing. Look, at least I got to
They're not
give to them.
hiding.
They're not hiding. Exactly. That's amazing. I mean, I'm being a bit facetious, but wow.
It's amazing. It's incredible. If only someone had been covering them for 3 fucking years.
Yeah. So it's not hiding. We live in a very free country with freedom of speech, and even the communists get to say exactly what they want to say.
Now, Deb, I have a question for you. Haymarket Books, just to give your viewers a bit more. Is this a press? It's a press, right? It's a press publishing house, is it not?
It's a publishing house. Yeah, they
Right.
publish.
And do a lot of teachers use their material?
Yes.
Okay.
And what's interesting to note is that they platform, as you're about to see, they platform not just teachers, but collectives of teachers, organizations of teachers.
Actually, the thing of it is, Deb, is Haymarket Books doesn't actually publish a lot of materials from that teachers would actually use in the classrooms. They actually really don't. If you look at their catalog, it's pretty clear about that. But what they do, Deb, and maybe if you had done your own research, you would know this, is they partner with organizations like Rethinking Schools, like Teaching for Change, like the Zinn Education Project, like the Abolitionist Teacher Network. They partner with these programs in order to have them at their events and do webinars together. But that doesn't mean that Haymarket Books is publishing them, Deb. They are a very decentralized movement, which you would know had you actually bothered to do the bare minimum of research into what you are investigating rather than just trying to copy me. Why don't you know that, Deb? Reagan knows that because Reagan's helping out with the Unwoke Wiki project. So Reagan is one of the people going down the rabbit holes into these things to help us map out the network of these people. So Reagan knows this. Why don't you know it, Deb?
Teachers who you'll hear them talk about it, they kind of all work together. And it's when you realize how extraordinarily well organized they are, how they have all kinds of systems for interacting with and collaborating with each other. They are decades.
I am the only person that I know of that has talked about the fact that they have a book this thick for ways that they collaborate with each other. I'm now convinced of it. Deb is 100% listening to my content and trying to copy it. I am the only person that's talked about that because I saw the book at the socialism conference. Deb was just like, they have all these systems for collaborating with each other. Where did you learn that, Deb? Where did you pick that up?
Decades and decades ahead of anybody who's not a Marxist who wants to change what they're doing. It's not possible. They have successfully captured education. So what you're about to see is not aspirational. It is actionable. It's happening. This is happening. This is happening in classrooms. They make their curriculum, they churn it out. Because of Common Core standards, teachers can go online, they can attend a professional development training, they can print things out, they can bring it into the classroom. And it is a very rare administration of a school, a public school in particular, that's going to say, oh, I heard you were using something from, for example, NICOR, which is
literally copycatting
New
me.
York, this organization, the New York Collective of Radical Educators. Oh, no, you can't do that. Or I understand that you're using this curriculum on anti-Semitism from a framework of collective liberation. Given the diversity, equity, inclusion standards and statements of places like New York State, for example, there would be zero leg to stand on for a superintendent of schools in a district to come and say, you may not use this curriculum on the basis of what? It is literally perfectly aligned with their DEI standards, their equity standards, all their standards. They're not going to get any pushback except potentially from parents. And they'll mention that in the video. So it's a done deal. This isn't, oh my God, it's coming. It's hello, it's here. And
can I just ask for everyone watching on Twitter, because I just got a whole bunch of viewers on Twitter that I welcome to anyone who's watching me on Twitter, but what caused you guys to find me on Twitter? Because I'm not mad at this or anything that you're viewing my stuff. It's just an awful lot of people started watching on Twitter at the same time. And I would really like if someone could chat in and let me know what actually happened. Or is this just all bots? What is this? Because again, I'm not questioning that. Thank you, Chris, for becoming a member of the channel. I really do appreciate it.
Amongst the other things that they're teaching, they are teaching something about anti-Semitism that, to my ear and Naya's ear, is, I hesitate to use the word new because it's not new. They've been talking about this for a while, but this sort of is perfectly.
Thank you, Reaper Son. I appreciate
sort of capturing in one video what they've been talking about for quite some time. And what the people it might be new for are, let's say, progressive Jews in America who thought they could be progressive and Jewish, and that everything the progressives were talking about, like intersectionality, critical theory, oppression, the Jews counted, right, Naya? Well, we were oppressed, right? So we were on the chart, right? And they're finding out, no, you're not. No, you're not.
But we're not. That's the truth, is that we're not.
No one is. The point is, no one really is, but because so many there were Jews, progressive Jews, who were thought well, surely I count as a marginalized minority.
Deb has no effing idea what she's talking about. Sorry. Nick, thank you for the member chat. And thank you for being a member of the channel for 17 months. You're worried about classrooms now, but you didn't say you were against. Yeah, exactly. Deb is not in favor of cameras in classrooms. Deb is vehemently against cameras in classrooms for no good reason. But she's also concerned about the children, but she doesn't want parents to actually see what their kids are learning in the classroom. Isn't that funny?
A marginalized group.
Right. I'm a victim group too. And they're waking up after October 7th to something you and I have known for years, but others may not have acknowledged, which is, no, honey, the Marxists don't count you. The Marxists don't count you, and the right-wing Nazis, the actual Nazis, don't count you. So the people on the far right, they say we're communists. Jews are communists, right? And the people on the far left,
they don't,
say Jews are the ultimate capitalists running the world.
Yeah.
But under no circumstances are we in any way oppressed at all, whether
Actually, I feel like I'm pretty embedded in both the far left and the far right groups now, quite frankly, because the far right groups are the only people on the internet who are actually saying anything interesting, and I cover the far left. So that's kind of ironic. And Deb doesn't understand either of those groups. Deb doesn't understand the far left, and Deb certainly does not understand the dissident right.
whether we're baddies on the left or we're baddies on the right. And even though those contradict each other, that's what has been said since forever, right? And people just didn't recognize it. They thought, no, I can get in on the social justice gig. And they found, no, you're incorrect. And in this video that we're about to watch, you will hear them explicitly say, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play parts of it. I think I know Naya pretty well to know when to stop and say, okay, Naya, comment. It's going to be like maybe every minute or two. But all I would ask is if there's a point you want me to stop, just say stop there and I'll stop there. Okay?
Okay.
So here we go. This is the woman, by the way, behind what I just showed you here, the curriculum and anti-Semitism. That's her. Okay, here we go.
We're not getting into that discussion today, Reaper's Son. Maybe another day.
Everyone this evening. I am a co-director of Parseo together with Donna Neville, who has been a long-time educator and organizer among many other issues for.
Why does Deb's audio suck? Yeah, well, this is exactly my point, is Deb watched my stream and is now trying to copycat me, and I want to see what she said. Deb is very Jewish when it is convenient for Deb to be Jewish. When Deb rolls out that card when it's convenient. I'm sorry, another day. We're on a time schedule.
Educational justice. And as part of our work, Parseo has developed a range of participatory social justice curricula. Most recently, the Palestinian Nakba curriculum with Project 48, which, as we know, has become more relevant than
Pause there if you want. First of all, I don't know if you noticed, there's an echo when she speaks, at least on my end. Okay.
There is. It's her sound in her room. She's not wearing any headphones. She's not. I've noticed that the production values of their videos of all these people is they just jump on and make videos, but they're enormously productive. They do a lot of this and it works. They reach people. So.
Deb literally just said that socialists suck at technology. For people who don't know, I literally say that all the time because socialists always suck at technology. But Deb doesn't watch socialist videos like we do, so how would Deb know that socialists always suck at technology unless she was watching me say, socialists always She really is trying to be me. It's true.
Right.
Did you want to say something about the Nakba?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, when I listen to this. First of all, I'll just say this is a very dangerous woman. This is a woman who espouses dangerous, and I would even say evil views that don't make humanity better. Views that basically.
Hang on. I am not in favor of socialists at all, and this woman is a socialist, and so, yeah, on some level, this person, I think, does have views that I consider not to be good. However, I at least listen to people talk about their views before I go, this woman is fundamentally evil. This person hasn't even listened to what this person has to say. They have no idea what they're about to say, and they're already like, evil, demonic, satanic. Like, jumping the gun a little bit much? Don't we listen anymore before like demonizing someone?
Excuse terrorism, views that excuse immorality. This is a very dangerous individual.
Right. Don't let the smiling face.
You don't even know what they're going to say.
Human rights activist. By the way, I mean, when she introduced her colleague as a fellow educator and organizer, my antennas, and I always talk about these antennas that we all wear, it immediately went off because, you know, only in the social justice, only if you're an activist would you ever call a fellow educator an organizer within their context, because
these are socialists, honey. They're all organizers.
You should even count how many times she says the word social justice, social justice. That's what they're at. This is not education. This is indoctrination.
Right.
The woman that Deb has on seems to be confused about the difference between progressive and socialist.
And later when we hear from Nassim, the guy on the panel, he explains not just that it is activism, but why. And my eyeballs popped out of my head as to like what they were like knowingly doing with young people. All right, but let's keep going.
This moment. And as part of our commitment to co-creating curricula with our partners that address issues of injustice and that challenge dominant exclusionary narratives, we've also developed our curriculum on anti-Semitism from a framework of collective liberation.
What does
And
that
the
mean,
curriculum
Deb?
is rooted in a deep commitment to mutuality, solidarities, and joint struggle in our work to
I wonder if Deb and her guests have any idea what the term collective liberation means. Do you guys want to define collective liberation in the chat just for funsies?
challenge anti-Semitism and all forms of injustice.
Can I pause there for a second? Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
I just want to, it's really important the way that this is couched, that this is a curriculum anti-Semitism, and the framework, meaning the methodology, is to view anti-Semitism through the perspective of, quote, collective liberation.
What does that mean?
That language,
What does that
everyone
mean?
know, is very much a Marxist
What
language,
does it mean?
Meaning that we are a marginalized group.
No.
Our goal, we forming an
Wrong.
alliance. We have we
Wrong.
are mobilizing together. We're
Wrong.
forming an alliance with the goal of
Wrong.
liberation.
What does liberation
that
mean?
language is I don't have to say
Liberate
it,
from
it's
what?
very much the Soviet Leninist
What does it
Marxist
mean?
language of liberation.
Liberate from
This
what?
idea of punching up.
No.
This idea of the fact that there is an oppressor and we now must be liberated
Getting
from
closer.
this oppressor.
What,
so right away,
from what specifically?
I knew where this is going to go.
For people who might be new that are watching me for the first time, when you hear the term collective liberation, that means freedom from capitalism, defined as private property ownership, freedom from the chains of capitalism, free yourself from the oppressive forces of capitalism, end capitalism. No one is free until everyone is free. That's why Queers for Palestine was a thing, because they don't believe they're free until Palestinians are free. And what they mean is free from capitalism. Free from capitalism, freeing all from the capitalist system. Collective liberation is freeing everyone from capitalism. The collective is liberated from capitalism. Say capitalism, Deb. She might piss off Daddy Lindsay if she does that. That means no more capitalism, to free everyone from capitalism, freeing everyone from capitalism, liberating the world from capitalism. No more capitalism, freeing oneself from capitalism. Aaron on Twitter gets the gold star. No one is free until we are all free from capitalism. Collective means socialism, socialist. Liberation means free from the system of capitalism. Collective liberation means liberating everyone from capitalism and replacing it with socialism. The oppression is the system of capitalism. Well done, everyone. You know more than Deb and her friend.
She's going to go to the white supremacist narrative, and let's continue. Unless you want to say
What does white
something,
supremacy mean?
No, you covered it.
Okay.
Our hope is that it contributes to the work that so many are doing, including the amazing educators and organizers we are so fortunate to have with us this evening.
Yeah.
To create just learning spaces and opportunities to engage in critical inquiry about urgent social justice issues in our schools and in our communities, especially at this moment when so many are facing repression for doing just that.
I would like to say something. What she's alluding to when she says when so many are experiencing oppression for doing just that, she's talking about the protesters protesting what's going on in Israel. She is categorizing what's happening to them, which is nothing.
Well,
really.
that's not all she's talking
Nothing
about.
is happening to them.
Exactly.
They're allowed to just like take over, but they're being repressed.
That's not what she's talking
when
about,
they are
Deb.
asked to be remotely civil, not threaten people.
That's not what she's saying, Deb.
Put up,
You're
like
literally
swastikas
making
and stuff.
shit up,
They're
Deb.
being repressed because their demand for a ceasefire is not being immediately met.
Where is there proof that the Palestinian protesters are putting up swastikas? Because it kind of feels like Deb literally just made that up.
They're experiencing oppression.
Yeah.
And that's important to understand her framing there.
And just for parents listening, If you have a child in a school and your teacher is saying that we're creating a just classroom or the goal is for just education, you should also know that that language is, it doesn't compute with critical inquiry, as she says. You can't have critical inquiry and just spaces, because if you really allow critical inquiry and critical thought, you would really be able to push on those ideas that are being espoused. But the idea of having a just classroom is to make sure that every, equity of voice, the equity is representation of everyone in the classroom. It's not about intellectual curiosity or pursuit of truth. Just so you know, if you're a parent and your teacher speaks that way, there really isn't any intellectual curiosity being fostered in your children.
Precisely. Thank you.
At the program
For
with our
real.
fantastic
So, for real.
educator panelists, we want to share just a few slides from our curriculum, which is connected to our work for justice in our different educational spaces. And can you please put slide 1 up? Okay. The curriculum, which includes articles, poetry, visuals,
I don't think
videos,
the echo
music,
was
and
this
other
bad.
resources, is
I
geared
don't
towards
recall
many
it
different
being this
communities,
bad.
and we offer several modes of engagement for workshops and classes. Can you please put up slide 2? And here are just some of the topics in the curriculum.
Notice item number 2, challenging anti-Semitism, a collective liberation framework. And you've watched this. So just audience, what's going to happen is as we get a little farther along about 4 minutes or so, she's going to explain what the collective liberation framework is. So get ready to listen very closely. You might miss it if you aren't listening. But when she says challenging anti-Semitism, she means the definition of.
Yes.
Not confronting actual anti-Semitism and turning it around, but she's saying, let's talk about what that means and let's make it something different than what it's normally understood to be. Okay.
And next slide, please. In the first part of the curriculum, we discuss and make visible different Jewish histories based on class, race.
Different Jewish histories.
I can't. Okay, yeah, sorry.
I'm pretty sure you have something to say about that.
No, I want people, but
Okay.
I want people to hear what she's going to say next.
Okay.
Geographies and other experiences. Slide 4, please. Jewish ethnic groups include Ashkenazi Jews who are from Eastern and Western Europe and Russia, Mizrahi Jews and Jeswana who originate from Middle Eastern, North African, and Central Asian countries, Sephardi Jews from Spanish and Portuguese backgrounds.
Okay. This is very, very tricky. I don't know if you guys, if you've heard when she said Ashkenazi Jews who originate from Eastern Europe. They don't originate from Eastern Europe. These terms, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi, Jews from North Africa and the Arab world lands, the only reason that they live there is because they were exiled from their ancestral homeland, which is Israel. Okay, Ashkenazi Jews do not originate. They lived in Eastern Europe and are called Ashkenazim to basically identify Jews who lived in Eastern Europe. Sephardim are Jews who after they were exiled from Judea, after they were exiled from our ancestral homeland, made their way to North Africa and Spain. But I guarantee that she's not going to do that. I guarantee that in this curriculum, there is no question that's going to be answered. Where are Jews from? According to, I don't remember her name, this lady, Jews are from Eastern Europe and North Africa, and they're just from everywhere.
They're
Okay,
completely
yes.
missing the
Right.
point.
You
He's
notice
going
that the word diaspora is noticeably missing
completely
because you would have to
missing the
acknowledge that there
point.
was a place from which they dispersed.
Yes.
And from Balkan countries, Jews from Ethiopia, Uganda, India, and China. And we share how Jews from these different localities have had different histories and experiences with anti-Semitism.
Oh, pause. I'm just curious if she's going to share about the experience of Jews in Arab lands living as dhimmis.
Yeah, no, the answer is no. I've listened to it. She doesn't touch on that. So even the Mizrahim, there's no discussion anywhere of how there was ethnic cleansing and genocide of those people.
Next slide, please. We reflect further on what anti-Semitism is and how it has shown up. Here are just a few images and quotes reflecting how anti-Semitism has manifested at different historical moments, from the Spanish Inquisition, created to eliminate non-Catholics, including Muslims and Jews, to the Holocaust, the most extreme, brutal anti-Semitic period in Jewish history, with over 6 million Jewish victims of the genocide.
I would like to pause briefly and note that in the text here, it's they're always in these collective liberation ideas.
What does that mean,
They
Deb?
cannot help themselves. They've got
What
to
does that
lump in
mean?
as many people as they possibly can on top of whatever happened to Jews, as if it's just another group of people.
That's what collective liberation means, Deb. Deb is all like, I just don't understand why they can't just talk about Jews and they have to talk about all these other people too. Why can't they just talk about Jews? Deb, that is literally what collective liberation means. If you understood the definition of collective liberation, if you had watched the stream that you clearly are trying to crib right now that I did last week on this exact thing, and you had actually listened to what was being said, you would understand, Deb, that they do not see the Jews as special magical unicorns, that they do not believe that they are free until everyone is free. That is the very definition of what collective liberation is, Deb. Someone please ask Deb what Queers for Palestine stands for. Hint, Deb, it's collective liberation.
That there's nothing unique to Jews or whatever that has been suffered. So, for example, they say the Nazis also brutalized and murdered millions of others on a racial and political basis, including, what do they list first? Queer people. There was no such thing as queer people.
No.
There were homosexuals.
Yeah.
Homosexuals. They did. Now you might say, well, there was transsexual. Guys, they did not call them queer people.
No.
Why is Deb okay with Nazis murdering gay people? Like, why is Deb defending the Nazis murdering gay people because she's pissed off that they called them queer? It's almost like Deb is perfectly fine with Nazis murdering some groups of people, but not other groups of people. And she doesn't know what queer is. Holy fucking shit. Because Deb doesn't know what queer means.
No, they did not.
In the 30s and 40s. All right. That is just wrong. Those with disabilities, Roma, Poles, and other Slavic people, Jehovah's Witnesses. This is all true. Nobody denies this. But queer is first, and that's not by accident.
I just want to say it's just a very, as I was listening to this before our today.
Okay, guys, I just want to note, we're going to watch this for about another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to send out the spy stream credentials that we're going to be doing for a little bit later. Don't worry, no one's missed anything. We're doing spy stream tonight. I'm going to be sending out the credentials in about 15 minutes once we get off this stream. And I apologize that we aren't going to be able to debunk more of Deb today, but I had to get out some feelings about the James Lindsay stands. I apologize. We'll be going back to our regularly scheduled programming tomorrow, and you still have plenty of time to sign up to join me for spy stream tonight, when I will take you inside a live leftist and show you what's going on behind closed doors. Head over to Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. Link is in the description below or in my bio if you're watching on Twitter. Sign up for $8 a month, $80 a year, and you will get your invitation to spy stream in about 15 minutes.
Being on your show, I was listening to it and I was thinking, wow, it's very interesting the way that she or the designers of this curriculum conceptualize anti-Semitism. They basically say from the Inquisition to the Holocaust. So that's how they bracket in. And basically anti-Semitism is othering. It's just a form of othering. And even the way that she describes the Inquisition was basically very, very evil Christian white people.
Spy stream is not
violence
canceled.
against Jews.
Right.
Not in any way.
I would like to just quickly address something. We weren't going to get into it right here because it's a whole other show. But maybe Nia will come back and do a whole show for us. But see, the whole truth is everybody got split up. That isn't new, a racial trait or newly indoctrinated. So, I mean, It makes sense that those who come to it will include outsiders. Still correct. Am I out of line for asking this? So the reason I brought this up is you're not out of line. It's a whole other topic to talk about the diaspora, to talk about how that all came to be, and how people over time will marry and have various appearances and traits. And, so you'll have Ethiopian Jews that are obviously Black and so forth and so on. But it's a completely different show. And the only thing I think that is relevant, and maybe Naya, you can address that, is that Israel is the homeland of all of them. So
Yes.
the original people,
We
the
gotta
original
get that point
tribes
in,
that
though,
fanned
don't we,
out, and
Deb?
remember, Judaism is not a proselytizing faith. So
Remember, guys, the Palestinians have no claim to Israel. Only the Jews, okay? Only the Jews. The Palestinians are interlopers that need to be removed from that land because they don't belong there. It is only the Jews that can claim that land, according to Deb fucking Fillman.
do not go trying to convert other people to Judaism. That's not to say people haven't converted, but it's not something that is sought or whatever. And so therefore it's really just by marriage and having babies with other Jews. And so
I mean, let's just
genealogically,
celebrate.
biologically, every one of us, like I had my DNA done, we
Let's
can
just
trace ourselves
celebrate.
back to those original people from Judea. And so that's why it's not really of utility to talk like how she does. They're from the Balkans, they're from Russia, they're from here. It's like, no, they live there.
They lived there, but they're not from there. No. And a lot of people when like for instance, I was born in the former Soviet Union, which is today Ukraine. So they say, "Oh, you're Ukrainian." No, I say I'm Jewish, and people are like, "What?" Because Judaism is not just a religion. Of course, it's an ethnicity. It's so, but no. And the only reason I always explain that my family ended up Ukraine is because there was a diaspora.
Yeah. And people, how do you put this? I've tried to explain it before on the channel, but it's the people, the land, and the faith can't really be separated. It's not, it would be like telling the Armenians, who are both an ethnicity, they're an ethnicity and their religion.
Right,
their religion isn't just
I don't need to hear Deb pontificate about how she's oppressed for being Jewish. Okay, I don't need to hear that.
Capitalism and the bourgeois. What she is saying here is that anti-Semitism is, what he was saying is not that the anti-Semitism is wrong or bad. The real danger is capitalism. And she's going to go on to say the same thing.
Holy shit!
Anti-Semitism is bad because what we really must be fighting.
She actually said capitalism. She has not gotten the memo that she's not allowed to say capitalism. But you know what's going to be funny is they're going to gloss right over it. She's like, they're going to say the real enemy is capitalism, but that's not what the real problem is. I'm like, but they've glossed over the fact that she just said fucking capitalism.
Is white supremacy and white nationalism. So this is very, very, she's actually not being novel in any way here.
Right.
Oh my
Just wanted to point it out.
And just like Black Lives Matter and other sort of race Marxist organizations will even tell a Black person that they are white or white adjacent or have internalized whiteness or whatever.
Whiteness means
they
capitalism.
will not sign up for the Marxist project to abolish capitalism. She is saying Jews who are not, part of this collective liberation struggle might as well not be Jews.
Are you telling me that Deb Fillman on some level understands that this is about capitalism and not about white supremacy, which we all know whiteness means capitalism, Deb, and I know you know that, Deb. I'm going to make a clip of this, and I'm going to say, Deb Fillman admits that whiteness means capitalism. CC James Lindsay.
Anti-Semitism doesn't apply to you. Hating you is merely just hating capitalism. So it's very much the Leninist idea.
I know.
We engage in conversation and share a number of excerpts from educators and scholars reflecting on
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I wish we could continue to own Deb all day long. I really do. But we have a spy stream to get to, all right? And so I apologize. Maybe we can do some more another day. But if you want to join me for spy stream coming up very, 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 very soon, head over to the Substack. Again, Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Sign up for a membership, $8 a month, $80 a year. And we're doing that. That is just for supporters tonight. I will be sending out the credentials in a moment. And if you are a paying supporter on Locals, on Patreon, a Twitter subscriber, or a YouTube channel member, you can check your various communities for that. You guys will all be getting the credentials as well. I will see you guys very soon. It's gonna be a doozy. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.